Hey, here's a game. 2017. Tapalamd. It's time to play e4, I think. e4, d6. So let's see what he's doing with this d6, e6. Okay, this is some kind of offbeat opening. I can't play f4 here because he's got the queen check. But I believe I can play c4 and just establish the big center. And it looks like, yeah, black is going to play all these moves instantly. I mean, it's a very quiet setup that black has here, so you can usually play these moves without thinking. White should have an advantage in space, but then, you know, I have to prove somehow, I have to prove that advantage out. And let's see, so he's putting his bishop on that diagonal. So one thing I could do here is to start trying to define the pawn structure by pushing ahead with d5. That would attempt to shut out this bishop, and having a definite pawn structure in the center would help me figure out where to place my pieces. The knights are actively placed, but there's some question as to where to put the bishops. So I think I'm going to go ahead with that. Plus, I'm taking my time here in the opening to to try and annoy him a little bit. The thing is, you know, he's playing all these moves instantly, but he still has to wait for me to move. So maybe he's getting a little bit frustrated while I'm talking. He can't hear me talk, so he has no entertainment. There's no entertainment value for him. He's just got to wait for me to move. And of course, he slams out his move instantly. So the question is this e-pawn going to be weak? His other knight could come to d7 and then go to f4. I mean, d7 and c5. And then that would put pressure here. Yeah, so I'm wondering about the move b4 to just take that square away. There are other squares that pawn is not so easily attacked. So let's go ahead with this and see. Yep. Okay, so it looks like he's going to castle. Let's go ahead and get my bishop out. Oh, let's see. Is he going to think for more than a second here? He is going to sacrifice his knight. Oh yeah, that's a valid sacrifice. Look at that. How am I talking and I still can't play a good game. So if I take his bishop, he takes back with the knight. And if I take his knight, he takes my bishop. So which piece would I rather get rid of? I guess I'd rather get rid of that knight. And then trade off the bishop. And I wonder about this position. I mean, it's true I'm down a pawn, but and black's development is pretty poor. Let's see. So he's threatening on g2 here. And he's got a weak pawn on c7. Let's defend g2. And also defend the e-pawn. And let's put a rook on the c file. See if I can take advantage of these open lines that he's given me here. And he brings his knight there. So let's bring my knight around to the king side. And also take a look at that c-pawn. So let's go ahead and castle now. The knight can come to g3, which might be useful. And okay, so he's closing down the pawn structure. Let's put the knight on g3. And then I'm going to double on the c-file, maybe even triple. Ah, so that's his idea. He is going to put his knight to this square, the square c4. Unless he wants to go for a4, kicking my rook. Might be an idea. Ah, so he breaks first with the pawn. That's probably a good idea. It's going to leave him with a backwards. Well, we'll see how far he's calculated this. I thought I could win the. D pawn here and then get back to even. But I don't know. That's why I was saying, let's see how far he calculated it. He might have a joker at this point, some clever move. He seems to be pretty sharp, but no, seems like not. Okay, so let's see. He can't move the bishop with check. Oh, I want to place my rook here, but we'll take it with his queen. So how about if I bring my knight in then? That looks like a nasty looking fork there on e7. Let's see if he can find a way to deal with that. Actually, I don't see an easy way to deal with it. The knight can't protect that square. The rook, if the rook tries to protect that square, I can either take the rook or take the bishop, depending on where it goes. He could bring the king can't come over to protect that square. And the thing is, it's a fork that hits 3 pieces, so he can save one of them, but maybe not all of them. So, well, maybe this will work out for me. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to play knight here anyway. It forks the rook and the bishop. What's his response going to be? Counterattack my queen, the knight. Yeah, I guess so. He attacks my queen, and I don't have time to take the bishop. Where does my queen go after his knight? Goes there. And in fact, my knight is hanging. So say knight e7, knight c4. My queen's under attack, and I'm attacking just his minor pieces. I move my queen, and I lose the knight because my knight is under fire there. Well, that's kind of a lucky save for him. Let's let's drop the knight back. What I want to do is I want to play rook to c1 anyway. Knight's also covering this c4 square. Okay, another think. The c-pawn's a little weak. It's only defended once. He could attack it with the queen, maybe. He just wants to trade. That's probably not a bad idea for him, a trade. I don't see any great way to avoid the trade either, however. So yeah, he takes with the pawn. Let's go after that bishop now. Knight to d5 might be an idea if I can eliminate some of the defenders of the d5 square. Okay, I've got a check here. King has to go back to has to go back there because once again I had the fork. Let's see. So what's going on here? I guess he likes this position because he's got the pressure with his bishop against this pawn here. Okay, yeah, so he's going to go for a minor piece endgame. Try and prove that he has the better minor piece. So we'll see. Okay, so he's trying to chase my knight around. Knight can come back here and get traded, but for his bishop, and I would have a bishop versus a knight. Or I could go here, but where am I going from there? Oh, from here to here. This looks like an idea. Go to the c5 square, hit his a6 pawn. And he will hit my pawn. He has a check here as well. Check and take the bishop. Ah, he just defends. Okay, so I have to push this pawn forward. Then I want to get my king over. Okay, let's take that pawn. Aha, he's being clever, trying to undermine my knight there. His knight is undermined as well, so let's see, I can threaten his knight. He takes the pawn, I take the knight. He takes the knight, hitting my bishop. And he gets a passed pawn, so it's better to do something a little more... let's see, how can I avoid that though? This knight here. So if he takes my pawn, I will take back. There, took there and took there. So we have a pair of passed pawns, and we have a bishop versus a knight. Let's see. Okay, and he can stop it. If I push immediately, he manages to stop the pawn. So let's hit the knight first. And then let's bring my king over to stop his pawn. And see what he wants to do from here. I can attack that pawn with my bishop. He can attack my king, yeah. So, how do I go from here? He's got a check there, so I do have to be careful. Yeah, but I also have a pawn that's close to queening, huh? So if he checks, I move my king, he takes the bishop, I push the pawn. So yeah, so his knight had to go back. If he takes my bishop, I will queen, so I can place my bishop there. And let's see, I can take this pawn. I can win this pawn. And I will. And I'll bring my king over to the other side of the board here. Let's see, should I do anything first with the pawns? I'm like one step ahead of his king. I don't want to waste that tempo. I think I want to bring my king over immediately. And try and get a passed pawn here. right, so his knight is going where? There? Ah, yes, knight is going to go sit in front of that pawn. Let's push these other pawns forward. Yeah, so he didn't go there immediately, but I guess there was no rush. Okay, let's push my king forward. He's put all his pawns on dark squares. And let's see, okay, that hits my bishop. I don't think I have any tricks here. Let's just put my bishop somewhere where it's safe. Tricks like pushing a pawn forward and threatening the queen. My pawns are just a little too far away. I'm surprised he didn't just park his knight on e5 there. Maybe he's getting around to it anyway. Okay, so I have to push these pawns forward. There's no way about it. And then let's see if I can turn this into a win with the extra pawn. Oh, it's a draw. Yeah, of course. So anyway, I was, in a way, I was happy to survive with a draw. I think this guy's probably a pretty good player. But anyway, we'll check that out in the postmortem and see if I had some winning chances there. See you guys later. Bye.